It's not just these 3 emails from Jeffrey Epstein that mention President Donald Trump. There is actually a ton of emails that mention Donald Trump, and I read them this morning. Now, you probably already know that the House Democrats on the Oversight Committee released these 3 specific emails from the convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein that all mentioned the president this morning. But what you may not know is the full House Oversight Committee, including Republicans, released 20,000 additional documents from the Epstein estate this morning, too. And I just went through hundreds of those documents, and they all, in some way or another, mention Trump. Some talk about Trump before he was president, but most of these emails from Jeffrey Epstein were dated 2017, 2018, during Trump's first term, and discussed Trump's strategies, his comments publicly and in private, and at least one talks about potential leverage that Epstein could have on Trump. Now, before I get into all of this, because there's a lot, the White House responded to this huge document dump today.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us.
We'll get to what the White House press secretary said in a second, but first, the facts. Fact: victim names are always redacted in these files. Fact: the documents I'm reporting on in this video were released by both Democrats and Republicans. Fact: all of the emails I'm reporting on are part of a trove of documents that the full House Oversight Committee received from the Epstein estate. These documents did not come from the Justice Department's massive Epstein file because they still haven't released that file, as you know. These emails are just the tip of the iceberg. There will very well be more emails or documents that mention Trump that come out that were sent over to the House committee by the Epstein estate as the committee members sort through them. Okay, so now to these actual emails. You already heard about the 3 specific ones from Jeffrey Epstein to the writer Michael Wolff and to Ghislaine Maxwell. In one of them, Epstein writes that Trump spent hours at his house with one of the victims. The Republicans say that victim was one of the most recognizable Epstein victims, Virginia Giuffre. In another email, Epstein told Wolff that one of the victims, whose name was also redacted, was at Mar-a-Lago and said, of course he, meaning Trump, knew about the girls. He asked Ghislaine to stop. And perhaps the most damning of these 3 emails is this one from December of 2015. It's also from Epstein to Wolff and talks about how Trump would likely try to distance himself from Epstein during a CNN interview on the campaign trail. Epstein suggested that he could craft some kind of answer that Trump could give to CNN. Instead, Wolff suggested that it would be better if Trump denied the relationship with Epstein. That way, Trump would hang himself, so then Epstein could use that secret as leverage if Trump won the election. Wolff suggested that Trump would then be in debt to Epstein. The White House press secretary said that these emails prove that Trump did nothing wrong. Now, the emails do not do that at all. They actually don't say either way whether Trump did anything wrong or not. Now, it is a fact that as of today, President Trump has not been accused of any wrongdoing related to Epstein or his victims. Caroline Leavitt also suggested that these 3 emails were taken out of context by the Democrats. That's actually not the case. The fact is, Trump's name is mentioned repeatedly in tons of emails from Epstein. The context is clear, whether it was true or not. Lots of people at that time believed that Epstein had some kind of relationship with, or pull with, or inside knowledge of President Trump during his first term. That is clear from these emails. For example, in this one from December of 2017, Epstein is talking to someone whose name is redacted about coming over to his New York house. The person emailed saying, "I'm at the door, but I'll wait for my time. I don't want to come in early to find Trump in your house," with multiple smiley face emojis. So clearly this person knew not only of the friendship between Epstein and Trump, but also believed that he could accidentally find Trump randomly in Epstein's house. And in this email between Epstein and writer Michael Wolff from January of 2018, where it appears like Epstein is preparing to speak to a reporter about then President Donald Trump. Epstein writes to Wolff about not yet scheduling that conversation because I need my marching orders. Then Wolff responds by saying, Trump is going to go down. And Wolff wonders to Epstein in the email if the reporter is interested in talking to Epstein about, in fact, bringing down Trump. Wolff then says that Epstein should gently imply that I, meaning Wolff, have tapes to the reporter. Tapes? What tapes? What is he talking about? Also, who is Epstein getting marching orders from? Also, why would Wolff think back in 2018 that Epstein would have anything that could bring down Trump? And another email between Epstein and Wolff almost a year later in December of 2018, where the two of them appear to be crafting a narrative to downplay Epstein's role in the trafficking of young girls and instead point the finger at Trump as the real villain. Epstein writes, do you think we highlight that at the end of the day it was prostitution, sex for money, a state crime with laws? Wolff says, that's not going to work. He says, at this point, I don't think you can go legalistic. They've won the high ground, young, vulnerable, poor girls. Epstein writes, I'm aware. I'm thinking what Trump would do. Wolff responds, he never tries to explain, he denies, blames media, denigrates someone else. And in this email from January of 2018, Epstein is talking with another reporter from the New York Times where he says, no question, Donald's statement is goofy, and then asks, early dementia? I'm still going through all of this document dump. Again, 20,000 documents. If I find anything else that is significant, of course, I will share it with you. And if you want to see these documents for yourself, I'm going to email them all out to you tonight in my Facts HQ email, so make sure you sign yourself up.